Hi everyone. I hope everybody is doing well. First of all, thank you so much to everybody who has joined so promptly today. Um, I am just going to give it a couple of moments to allow everybody to join before we get started today. Brilliant. I think now is it's a good time to get started. So, to those of you who haven't already said hello to, hello. Thank you very much for joining us today. Really excited to be talking to you. Today's subject matter is building trust by making privacy part of your DNA. Too often, companies are responding to brand data emergencies by addressing them on a case-by-case basis as they happen. Today, we're going to discuss how, by flipping this traditional approach on its head, organisations can take a far more proactive approach to privacy. Why does that matter to you? Well, this proactive or operationalised approach to privacy enables companies to drive trust into the fabric of their business and to enjoy the benefits of this. But before we get into today's session, a little bit about me. My name is Genevieve Braund, and I'm an Enterprise Client Success Team Lead at the Data Privacy Group. I'm lucky enough to be based in sunny Spain, and I'm CIPP certified. I'm also one of 5 OneTrust Fellows of Privacy Technology at the Data Privacy Group. That's something that we're really proud of because our company culture is all about learning, growing, and keeping abreast of the privacy landscape as it evolves. I primarily work with our larger clients, including global FTSE and Fortune 500 companies such as Fortive and Vontier. I really enjoy enabling my clients to tackle the complexities of privacy in a global environment. So a little bit about the Data Privacy Group. We're headquartered in the UK, but we have clients spanning 94 countries. So we really have global scope. We address immediate privacy challenges, industry benchmarking, and operationalized data privacy programs for our clients. We're proud to be a OneTrust partner and have built all of our solutions on top of the OneTrust platform by design. This allows us to deliver the most powerful, all-encompassing privacy software to our clients and layer on specific workflows and management structures to drive maturity in our clients' privacy programs. Coupled with this, we work with globally recognized law firms to ensure all of our workflows meet the requirements of the different regulations across the globe. Finally, we're a member of the IAPP, and with that, ensure that all of our employees are across the data privacy news and key events as they happen. We're driving towards having all of our employees accredited with IAPP certifications. So that's including the CIPPE, the CIPM, the CIPT, etc., etc. So as I mentioned, we are very much a global business, and we're lucky enough to work with clients who span a wide array of industries. Personally, I believe that this is a really unique advantage for both ourselves as a company and also for our clients. We pool the collective learning from across our client portfolio into our knowledge base, so everybody that we work with benefits from these learnings. It means that organisations can enjoy the breadth of experience and skill set that they require and could get by contracting an internal privacy team at a manageable price. So without further ado, let's get on to today's subject matter. As we know, since the enforcement of the notorious GDPR in 2018, a myriad of data privacy laws has cropped up across the globe, each with a new acronym and new complexities to navigate. As a result, demonstrating compliance in a globalised world has become increasingly challenging. If businesses are to keep up, not just with their competition, but with the rapidly changing global landscape, having a comprehensive data privacy programme on paper is not enough. Let's take a look at the 2 compliance approaches we typically see. First of all, we have the traditional approach, which is reactive. In other words, it is triggered by an event. This could be anything from new regulations coming into place to a data breach, a data subject access request, or even an enforcement notice from regulatory authorities. Organisations reach out to lawyers and they give you a once and done approach, a high quality response to an event, along with a hefty bill. Bearing striking comparisons to a brand new car leaving the dealership's forecourt, a paper-based approach to compliance loses value almost as soon as it reaches the company filing cabinet. So then the question is, how can companies implement a data privacy program which can keep up with changing privacy laws and evolves as business processes change and delivers ROI? An operationalized approach is the best place to start. By operationalizing, I mean making your privacy program one which is repeatable, scalable, and delivers return on investment. It should enable organizations to be proactive rather than reactive. Our mantra is that compliance is only ever a point in time. In other words, data privacy is complex, and so is your business. As regulations evolve and business processes change, your information governance program needs to be both flexible and scalable to support expanding business needs. The relevant stakeholders should be closely engaged with the program in order to ensure that any business changes are reflected across the board. Furthermore, the information governance program should not be limited to one department of the business, and in fact, we should be looking to establish a culture of trust. However, operationalizing data privacy can be a multifaceted challenge for businesses. Let's take a look at the organisational compliance challenges now. The first common compliance challenge is a lack of company-wide consistency. A bottom-up approach to information governance won't work. It must be institutionalized in an organisation's culture in order to be successful, and requires executive sponsorship and extensive resources in order to keep up with the ever-changing privacy landscape. In many organisations, different lines of business employ different approaches with regard to their own siloed datasets. While, naturally, some LOBs have to deal with privacy matters with a heavier hand than others, the approach must align with the DPO's objectives to ensure consistency throughout the business. Furthermore, there are often different levels of data privacy maturity across the various LOBs. Some may be unclear on basic concepts, such as what constitutes personal information, while others are well versed on how to keep records of process and activities and deal with data subject access requests. This disjointed approach is ultimately futile. Organizations must strive towards company-wide visibility, both in terms of the approach and the management of their information governance program. Additionally, if you're an international business with many different operating companies under your umbrella, special consideration must be made in order to ensure that data privacy is dealt with at both the OpCo level and also at the parent company level. However, it needs to be delivered consistently at all levels and managed centrally so that the Chief Trust Officer or the Chief Compliance Officer has a global view of the company's compliance footprint. They need the ability to dashboard, keep track of KPIs, and then drill down into specific areas. Consistency facilitates this. The second compliance challenge organizations face is finding and retaining experienced talent. In the 2 years after the GDPR's enforcement, over 500,000 DPOs were registered across Europe. They can't just have crept out of the woodwork. The chances are they were given that role as an add-on to their existing position. The lucky ones will have got some training, but many may not have, and they'll have had to learn by doing rather than by studying the legal complexities. Still, global privacy talent is in short supply. If you are lucky enough to find somebody, you need someone who can do a range of tasks. Some may be heavily administrative, while others may be highly technical. This presents a bit of a problem. If you hire a really good person, they'll get bored with the admin stuff, Whereas if you hire an administrator, they'll likely struggle with the more technical tasks. We all know that operationalizing privacy solutions requires a specialized skill set, and companies across all sectors are struggling to find the right technical talent to meet demand. With many companies still treating data privacy as a checkbox, privacy roles are often an add-on to someone's existing position. Again, this can present a few problems. For example, the employee may have a conflict of interest if their primary role is in digital marketing and they rely on data subject insights in order to get this year's bonus, for example. They're probably not going to be the first person to identify that your organisation is dropping cookies without consent. Furthermore, with DPO as their add-on role, they might not have the bandwidth or experience to handle a specific task when you need it most, particularly with data privacy emergencies only happening occasionally. There are two options to solve this. You could hire a team of people in order to cover the different skill sets required. Keeping that team busy all the time is difficult because you're not dealing with issues at all of those levels all of the time. Astute organisations turn to outsourcing, which allows them to access different skill levels on demand at a fixed and manageable price. Finally, arguably the most common organisational compliance challenge we see is maintaining readiness. As we've already discussed, most privacy challenges are triggered by events. So if you do choose to handle this in-house, you always need to be able to respond to those events. So if you have a breach, you need the right resources at the right time to ensure that you can respond properly. If you've properly operationalized your privacy program, you're driven by workflow rather than relying on the expertise of a single point of failure. What do I mean by that? Well, there are always heroes in your business. When something happens, you know to turn to that person and they will be able to help. The Data Privacy Group leverages the power of OneTrust to institutionalize the hero's knowledge into workflows and guidance within the system. Now, that's not to take away from what your hero does. There'll always be a hero in the business. However, it means that your company becomes scalable, sustainable, and ready to deal with privacy challenges as they happen. The world of data privacy is in a constant state of flux, and with increased consumer consciousness comes increased business responsibility. Companies should not only consider data privacy as a hoop to jump through in terms of legislation, but also a means of establishing consumer trust and therefore increasing revenue. Consumers are becoming more discerning regarding the choice of who they work with. The need to demonstrate your organisation's commitment to earning and keeping their trust is becoming increasingly critical for organisations. If you take the time to operationalise these things, the business becomes more efficient, more trustworthy, and more responsible. That's the end goal. It's thought that the cost of doing something is always greater than doing nothing. But in this case, it's simply not true. If you don't act now, unfortunately, you will get left behind. If people don't trust you and know that you take a responsible, ethical, and sustainable approach to business, it can result in brand damage and a lack of trust that can prove tricky to recover from. Privacy professionals must work with internal lines of business as well as external service providers to ensure that data privacy is operationalized down to the smallest detail and that sufficient governance is in place to maintain readiness in a continuously evolving environment. Although the prospect of navigating the complex world of data privacy can seem daunting, the results are worth the attention and effort. Enabling compliance with data privacy regulations and avoiding hefty fines is a clear benefit. However, with the right approach, information governance can also pay significant business dividends. Gartner tells us that the average cost of handling a DSAR is $3,500. By leveraging an operationalized approach with a powerful tool such as OneTrust, the cost is a fraction of that because a lot of the work is done by the system. Not only does it mean that DSARs are handled correctly, for example within the right time frame, it also means that you get return on investment with set, scalable processes that are repeatable and without administrative burden. So operationalising data privacy not only builds trust and delivers ROI, but it also gives your organisation the most valuable resource of all: time. Time to focus on learning, time to focus on innovating, and time to achieve great things for your organisation. And while you're thinking about data privacy, perhaps it's time to start thinking about building sustainability into your business. There's major momentum around the world for companies to take a leadership position in supporting social responsibility, environmental goals, and key governance programs as COVID-19 opened the debate on what societies really value, exposed the extent of global interconnectedness, and the need for long-term planning and tracking important objectives. Companies should look to ESG principles to increase employee engagement and meet customer demands through making the firm sustainable. This means that any external impacts can be weathered, so your business endures whatever the outside world throws at it. And with that, we've reached the end of today's speaker session. Thank you so much for your time. I really hope that you've come away with some key questions to consider when it comes to your own organisation's compliance journey. If you do need help operationalising your organisation's data privacy programme, please reach out to us at the Data Privacy Group. We have a team full of OneTrust fellows who are ready to support your compliance journey and maximise the return on your OneTrust investment. Finally, all that's left to say again is a big thank you for your time today. I'd really love to connect on LinkedIn, so please feel free to find me on there. But for now, I hope you have a great day